What is going on, everybody? It's the France, and we're here for AEW on TNT review. The St. Patrick's Day Slam tonight. Happy St. Patty's Day to everybody who celebrates that. I really don't care. It's just a holiday. It's just one of those days. But tonight, for the first time on TNT, lights out, unsanctioned, anything goes. Dr. Baker, DMD versus Thunder Rosa was your main event. Also, more Kenny Omega causing more shit with Jon Moxley as Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston took on the Good Brothers, the former Impact Wrestling Tag Team Champions. We hear from MJF, Tully Blanchard, on what happened last week and what this new group is going to be called and what we should be thinking going into the future. We also hear from Christian for the first time. And will the Young Bucks finally do something about Kenny Omega? Plus, Cody takes on Penta in the opening match, and much, much more. As I said when we started this off, we had Penta El Zero Miedo versus Cody Rhodes with Arn Anderson. And I'm not going to lie, match was good. First off, Cody has the kinesio tape on his arm, on his left shoulder. Now, from what I've read or what I heard somewhere is that he has a sort of a torn, like a minor torn rotator cuff. Here's my thing. If Cody is 100% that this injury is legit, there is no motherfucking reason this dude needs to be wrestling. Like, a torn rotator cuff is not something to it's not something to sneeze at. If this dude is legitimately injured, there is nothing wrong with taking a few months off. I mean, he still has his other job in the back being part of the EVPs. He could sit back there, do his EVP job, let his shoulder rest, and then come back when he's completely healed. There is no reason to have matches with a guy like Pentagon Jr. or like that ladder match at Revolution. There was no fucking reason for Cody to be in that ladder match. Only to be Canadian destroyed and then come back later to a round of booze, rightfully so, mind you. But there's no reason to risk a further injury. Because if it's minor tear and it's something that could just heal up if he stops wrestling for a while and just, does normal stuff, then he'll be out for maybe a month, maybe less. Maybe about a month and a half, who knows. But if he keeps wrestling and tears it completely, he's gone for half the year, at least. So Cody, who's going to have a new baby girl, I think it's a baby girl, yeah, they said baby girl, on the way, there is literally no fucking reason for this guy to wrestle. You got the talent in AEW. Somebody needs to have the balls to stand in front of Cody and listen, dude, you're hurt. You're not, and Tony Khan needs to come up to him and was like, Cody, you're hurt. You're injured. We don't want you to injure your arm anymore to the point where you're going to be gone for 9 months, 6 to 9 months, maybe even a year. We don't need that. We already have injuries in the women's division. We have other injuries that have been coming out. Top Flight and Top Flight and the Acclaim are missing one of the tag team wrestlers in each team because of injuries. We don't need Cody being gone for majority of the year because this guy is too goddamn stubborn to sit back and let other people wrestle. Take a break, let the fucking thing heal, come back when it's ready to go. Don't give me that, don't just be like, oh, well, I'm just going to wrestle every once in a while. Nah, man, you need to be out of the ring for at least a month or two. At least a month or two. And if he has to have a little bit of elective surgery to seal it back up, then do that. Because a minor tear will heal a lot faster than a full-blown tear. Come on, Cody, don't be fucking stupid. Now, again, match was good. I was not happy with the ending. So Penta smacks Cody, but he gets pulled over to the post by Cody, and Cody wraps Penta's knee around the ring post. Instead of pulling him straight through, you can pull somebody, give him a low blow with the ring. He didn't do that. He pulled him to one side and then used it to smack his leg. Back in the ring, he locks in the figure four, but Penta gets the ropes. Cody goes for the second figure four, but Penta counters it and wraps his arm up and snaps his arm back. The bad shoulder. He taunts for a little bit. Cody reaches up, rolls him up, 1, 2, 3. And I'm like, what the fuck was that? You gave Cody the win. Fine, whatever. Don't care who won this match. But what kind of shit finish was that? Cody just had his arm snapped by Penta. Not his good arm, his bad arm. His bad shoulder. Penta taunts for a minute and gets rolled up and looks stupid. Wow. What a piss poor way to end what was otherwise a decent match. Again, Cody, if you're fucking really injured, stay out of the fucking ring. After the match, he beats, Penta attacks Cody. Gunn Club and Dustin finally make it to the ring to make the save. Penta taunts on the ringside. QT Marshall just comes strolling out casually and asks Cody if he's okay. The group is wondering, where the hell were you? Why weren't you here to help? Now, I don't know who QT is going to be trying to feud with. I know he eliminated the Gun Club at the pay-per-view. He jumped out. He pretty much spit in Dustin's face and left him in the pay-per-view match in that Battle Royal. And then he walked out on Lee Johnson. What was it, last week? Yeah. So, who the fuck? It feels like he was supposed to, they were going to start this feud with him and Lee Johnson. Now it looks like it's going to be Cody and it's going to be Dustin and QT Marshall. I have no idea. So, I don't think that the feud with Cody and Penta is done. But honestly, again, Cody, stay out of the fucking ring until you are 100% to go. Plain and simple. Now, we have words from the Young Bucks, who are backstage with Alex Morives, when it comes to Pac and Rey Fenix, the two members of the Death Triangle, which it doesn't seem to be much of a Death Triangle right now. It just seems to be a Death Duo who's not the Lucha Bros, because Penta's been on his own and the other guys have been on their own. But here's the Young Bucks.
Rey Fenix and Pac have earned an AEW World Tag Team title shot. Where is your focus heading toward this match?
Rey, Fenix, and Pac. Hey, Rey, you beat me in singles competition last week, and a year ago you beat my brother also in singles competition. Well, luckily for us, Rey and Pac, these are World Tag Team Championship titles. You just so happen to be looking at the best damn tag team in professional wrestling.
Wow, that was great. I mean, you guys almost sound like you believe that.
What are you doing here?
What am I doing here?
What do you want?
I was worried about your dad. You know, I heard he got hurt, and you guys didn't really do anything about it, so I brought him a T-shirt. I hope it makes him feel better. He can wear that in the hospital. What's the
Look at your eye.
Oh, the eye? Okay,
Yeah, you're faking.
Okay, I was faking.
Hey, Don Callis actually admits that he was faking with the eye attack 2 months ago, a month ago, whenever.
They never actually kicked me.
Yeah, of course.
But you know what? I wanted you to kick me. I wanted you to, even though it would have hurt, it would put me in the hospital just like your dad. I mean, I wanted you to kick me because I wanted to see a little of that Young Bucks team, that Nick and Matt that I saw in Japan that would just destroy the competition, the once in the millennium tag team. And, you know, you guys kind of founded this place. It's all elite wrestling, and been here for a while, and there's really nothing elite about you guys anymore. I mean, killing the business is killing it, right? But you guys have killed your careers. I mean, you're letting everyone else take credit for everything around here. Kenny Omega doesn't even recognize
Kenny Omega. Yeah, the guy you changed our best friend. What are you doing here anyway, Uncle Creepy? What are you doing here? What do you want?
Matt, you're right. I did change Kenny. Kenny's changed. You know how he's changed? He's a god of pro wrestling. He was here, and now he's here, and you guys are down in the basement somewhere. Kenny doesn't recognize you because you're not elite anymore. You're just another tag team with fancy tights living off your name. So I want you to ask you one question before you guys get hot at me. You look in the mirror at night, do you see the same Nick and Matt that I saw in New Japan? Think about that.
Now, of course, that would play in later. So, Matt and Nick, you know, they of course they've changed. I mean, you can't do everything you could in Japan because this is a different thing. This isn't New Japan Pro Wrestling. This is All Elite Wrestling. Very interesting to see what what Don Callis is trying to do. He's trying to bring back the evil, vile version of the Young Bucks that were in New Japan and the Bullet Club. Then we move on to Jade Cargill versus Danny Jordan. Poor Danny Jordan had to put this woman over. Okay, so Jade Cargill had 2 matches. Her first match with Shaq against Red Velvet and Cody. And Red Velvet made her look good. And then she had this match. And I am not impressed with Jade Cargill yet. Right now, honestly, she looks like she takes steroids and that's all she has for her. Will she get better? Yes, I mean, most people get better in time. And hopefully, like, they get her some matches on Dark. Like, they need to, like, she shouldn't just be somebody who's on TV every Wednesday. She should be on Dark or Dark Elevation, getting matches, getting ring time in, because other women have been busting their asses for over a year, while Jade Cargill has just made her debut a couple weeks ago. Like, legitimately, her first match in wrestling was against Cody and Red Velvet with Shaq. So, she needs to improve. Just beating Danny Jordan in like 30 seconds or 60 seconds is not going to impress anybody. So, she's still got time to go. When she starts having longer and lengthier matches, and we can see what she can do, because I can go out there, have a match that I hit somebody with a pump kick, suplex them, and do a kip up, and I'll look like $1 million. Having a short match that lasts 60 seconds does not impress anybody in 2021. When she has those long, lengthy matches with the likes of Ashita or Riho, or if Maki Ito comes back from Japan and she does that, when she starts having those matches, then we'll start seeing how good she really is. They're doing the right thing, of course, by having to go out there and crush Danny Jordan, which sucks because I think Danny Jordan is a lot better than her. But get this woman some more matches, get her more time, more seasoning, and then we'll see what she's really like. Because right now, not impressed with Jade Cargill. Wins in like no time. Post-match, she had some words with Red Velvet on the outside, and that was that. So, we saw what happened last week, with the Inner Circle and this new group. And we're going to hear from Tully Blanchard, MJF, on this new group. And I cannot do this any justice, so you're going to sit here, you're going to listen, and hope you enjoy. Tully Blanchard first, and then MJF.
You know, it's great being in the middle of this ring with this group of guys. Because 1 week ago, we stood in here with the greatest group that AEW had, the Inner Circle. And then you saw Santana and Ortiz over here, handcuffed. And then you saw the tough guy, Jake Hager, over here with 2 champagne bottles. You saw Sammy over here wearing a chair. And then right here, you saw their leader, the great Chris Jericho. And you saw this gentleman right here take a baseball bat and pop him. So I guess that makes this group the baddest group in AEW. So when you've climbed the mountain and there is no place, you're at the pinnacle of this sport. And that's where we are. Years ago, 34 years ago, I was with the greatest group of guys in the history of professional wrestling. And I'm going to finish my career with the greatest group of guys in professional wrestling. You can mark the words.
What a start of the segment for Tully Blanchard. Tully Blanchard, of course, is just one of the best minds in all of professional wrestling. And here's what MJF had to say. Well, half of it.
We are family. We will be the backbone of AEW for years to come. We will take every premier championship this great sport has to offer. And as the pinnacle, we will take what we want when we want. And right about now, Chris, you know what we want? I think we want your locker room. Oh, and Chris, before I take that and every single thing you hold near and dear to your heart in this world, week after week with me and my boys, allow me to say something to give you a little heartwarming message here. Hope I can get it right, guys. It's been 6 months. I mean, see if I can get it over with. I'm better than you, and you know it.
Now, of course, he had some things to say before that, just which they don't have available right now. But he did say that pretending to like Chris Jericho and being in the Inner Circle was really fucking hard to do because he did something that all of us, like, I guarantee you a lot of people thought that they're building, the MJF's going to kick Jericho out, MJF's going to take over the Inner Circle, kill it from the inside out, getting rid of Jericho, got rid of Sammy, then he's going to get rid of Jericho, then he's going to get rid of Hager because Wardlow's going to kick him out, and then Santana Ortiz will be kicked to the curb, and that'll be that. But that's not what he was doing. He wasn't trying to take over the Inner Circle. He was trying to destroy it while he built his own. Now, when they did come out, Tony Schiavone mentioned how last year, about this time, last year, when we had our first few episodes inside Daly's Place, there was a couple episodes that they taped back to back that you saw Shawn Spears and MJF gambling. Someone pointed this out last week, that's long-term storytelling, that it went from them gambling to what we now know as the Pinnacle. It should be one hell of a ride. So MJF, the Pinnacle. Now, of course, everyone's going to say Shawn Spears is the weakest link. And he did go through, and I wish they would have put this fully on there, but he did go through and talk up Wardlow, Shawn Spears, and FTR as being the best damn guys in the business. And he is the biggest star in the company right now. Only been on TV for over a year, and he's one of the biggest talked about people in the company, in the business. So MJF, one hell of a fucking promo. If they put the whole thing on YouTube later on, check it out because my God, great fucking promo. MJF is like a fine wine, like he said. He's only gonna get better with age, and I can't wait to see what goes on with the Pinnacle Bowl. They will have their first match as a group next week. We'll talk about that later. Then we go to Matt Hardy, the Butcher and the Blade in the Private Party versus Jurassic Express and Bear Country. I hate these matches. I do not need to see a 10-man tag match. You want to know why I hate these things? We get 2 minutes into this match, not even that, 30 seconds into this match, and all 10 men are in the ring just brawling all over the place. The referee has lost control immediately. In WWE, he would have counted the 5 and threw the match out, but this is AEW. They hardly do any DQs or countouts. I don't know why they don't want to have DQs or countouts. We've had 2 DQs, one was a double DQ, and 1 double countout, and that's it. Why? Because they don't want to ruin matches. But if you're going to do a 10-man tag match and you're not going to get this shit under control, don't do 10-man tag matches. Gin and Juice on Private Party to Marco Stunt. Matt Hardy makes them tag him in. Twist of Fate, 1, 2, 3. They win. I don't care. Jurassic Express and Bear Country were arguing on the outside because during the match, Bear Country picked up Marco Stunt and threw him over the ropes onto everybody on the outside. Really don't care. I wish they had the John Moxley promo because this shit was good shit. Oh, do they?
Yeah. Eddie asked me how I feel. Good. We're like
already
this.
there.
We're like this.
We're already there. Tag team. How do you feel?
Not good, Eddie. Not in a good mood. Okay? Not just because I got burned and lacerated, all that notwithstanding. Then I got handcuffed and beaten to a bloody pulp. You know, I'm not feeling too good. I should be on a beach in a hot tub right now sipping a Mai Tai, but instead, I'm going to war again because it's time to take care of my real problem. You know, sometimes you got to step back, take a look, and fix the real problem.
We know what that problem is, don't we?
Those Good Brothers.
Yeah, brother.
Everybody loves the Good Brothers.
Yeah.
Hey, Hoot. Oh, they're such a good time. Everybody loves the Good Brothers, baby. No, I don't. At all. I don't like them at all. And not just because I wasted my money on Talking Shop-a-Mania. I don't like them because they are cheap shot artists. I turn around this corner, there's Anderson and Gallows. I turn around this corner, there's Anderson and Gallows. Nobody wants to look at Gallows that much.
No.
I can't get his face out of my mind. His googly eyes.
You look like that Forky dude from one of the
Forky, yeah, it's like a kid in Arts and Crafts Day where they get construction paper and they glue like the eyes that wiggle, you know what I'm talking about?
The wiggly
That's
eyes.
what Gallows looks like.
He's a wiggly eyed dude. But how about that other
Bald
dude?
head, will split his forehead open.
Okay.
Oh, Chad, too bad.
Chad, too bad.
Chad, too bad.
Yeah, but now he a gangster though now because he part of
Big
this
gang-
club, right? It's
gangster.
this.
Bullet
Yeah,
Club.
I seen that before somewhere. It was on TNT like years ago though. Years ago. I don't know.
These guys.
I know. You know what? I got you. Since you're in pain and you're angry, now we're gonna get serious for a minute. We can joke around and make all these jokes and stuff. You guys are world champions at all over the world, but this ain't Tokyo. This ain't the impact zone. Nah, man, this is our place. This is our home. And you know what, man? Let's be honest. I'm gonna go a little 50 Cent here. They've never popped nothing, never shot nothing,
But they're
so
the
stop
Bullet Club.
fronting.
I bet they're the Bullet Club.
Can we say Bullet Club on here, or is it legal?
I don't know, Forbidden Door and everything.
Yeah, Forbidden Door. I like that. Forbidden Door. Forbidden Door. But now since I use 50, I'm going to use Pac right now. Real simple, boys. You guys are cowards. And a coward dies 1,000 deaths. But men like me and Moxie, soldiers, we only die but once. See you out there.
Hell of a promo. These two right here. I can listen to these two just talk shit on whoever the opponent is all fucking night. Hell of a promo by Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston. And his words of them being cowards was absolutely correct, but we did have Christian Cage and asked by Dasha what is he doing in AEW. He calls himself the workhorse of the professional wrestling. He's here for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship, as we know. But he does mention that, yeah, he's got to get some wins. Gotta make a name for himself in AEW. And he'll see Kenny Omega down the road. But for now, he's here to cement his legacy. To outwork everybody. So, Christian, he did not get a match called for next week. So, I don't know when Christian's going to make his in-ring debut. I think they should have had it next week. I don't know what they're waiting for. He was cleared to be in the Rumble all back in January. So what's keeping him from being able to wrestle soon? Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston took on the Good Brothers. Eddie Kingston was making his way out when the Good Brothers attacked him and started beating him up. Jon Moxley comes from the side with his left shoulder taped, I think it was, all around his neck and everything. It looked terrible. He looked like, of course, this was taped last week. If this was actually a live show, I don't think he would have been taped because he would have had a nice, good week of rest. So, yeah. So, the Good Brothers beat the hell out of Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston on the outside for a good long time before they were able to turn it around. They didn't turn it around outside. They ended up throwing Kingston in. Kingston was on his own. But a good portion of this match, because Moxley was taken out on the outside, you got to think, he wrestled in a barbed wire death match last Sunday, and then this match was taped on Thursday last week. So, yeah. Moxley hits a big lariat on Carl Anderson towards the end of the match, looking for a power driver. He nails it. Doc breaks up and Moxley sends Doc onto the floor. Moxley lands a weak suicide dive on the Doc. Back in the ring, Moxley walks right into a spine buster, which JR finally said it's the double-A version of it. Doc and Carl Anderson with the drop kick cutter combination. Kingston gets in there and eats a punch. Back suplex cutter combo. Doc with a cover on Moxley for only a 2 count. Kingston and Doc's battle on the outside as Kingston gets sent into the barricade. Moxley gets a cradle for the pin in the win. And I'm thinking to myself, do we need to have multiple cradle pins in a show? It's kind of lazy having two baby faces do the same type of pinning combination or pinning way to win a match with Cody and Moxley. It's like, come on, man. After the match, of course, the Good Brothers beat up Moxley. Out comes Kenny Omega with a chair. Omega has a chair. He sets it down. Looked like he's gonna probably get a mic and say something, but Kingston comes in, rushes him off of the chair. He gets beat up some more. The Good Brothers set his leg up, and then they Pillmanize his leg, so that's going to be it for him. They're going to do the same thing to Moxley, but do it to his neck. But the Young Bucks finally come out. They get Kenny Omega and them to stop. They get the chair out of the way. Now, they're having an argument with Kenny Omega. We don't hear anything that they're saying because there's a crowd, and nobody's got a mic. Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers wanted to sweep them, but they're they're thinking about it, but they say, fuck this. They get out of the ring. Let me see here. Matt, I think it was Matt. I think it was Matt. Oh, yeah, Matt. Omega spins Matt around and puts two sweetens right in his face. He's yelling at him. The two sides yell at each other, and Matt gets out of the ring. Omega keeps yelling at them. I was so hoping that either Don Callis or Kenny Omega was going to get super kicked by the Young Bucks. That didn't happen. Moxley finally gets back up, has the chair and starts swinging away wildly, sending those guys to the back. So, yeah, that was that. On the stage for the umpteenth week in a row, Sting is brought out by Tony Schiavone, but this time with Darby Allin. He gives Darby Allin the mic first and is like, "Listen, I won the TNT title back in November. And you know how many times I defended that title? 3 times. And now that I am done with the thing with Team Taz, I want to issue a challenge and pay tribute to the greatest TNT champion of all time, and makes a challenge to the Dark Order, to any member of the Dark Order, to have a match next week." Before he could finish, though, out comes Lance Archer, who is pissed that he's not getting any time on TV. And pretty much it looks like we're setting up for either Sting versus Lance Archer or Lance Archer versus Darby Allin down the road. He's yelling and he's screaming at Darby Allin and calls him all the names in the book. So then he leaves. Out comes Team Taz. Before Team Taz can say anything, Brian Cage grabs the mic and says, "You're not talking for me tonight, Taz." And he had to hear this. Oh wait, we don't have that one. Okay, so he pretty much says, "I don't care what Ricky Starks. He's got it wrong. With or without the bat, you are the icon, and I respect you." Now, you can see the look of Ricky Starks like, what the fuck is this guy saying? As soon as he says, "I respect you" from Taz, is like, what are you doing? What the hell are you doing? What the hell was that? So they're arguing amongst themselves. Brian Cage just splits them, parts the Red Sea, walks away, and the rest of Team Taz is not happy as they follow behind. So could Brian Cage be leaving the Team Taz? I don't know yet. Again, I would like to see what goes on with this. We'll have to wait and see. Rey Fenix versus Angelico. We do get a Scorpio Sky package where he's done everything he needs to become the face of the company. Sky says his nice finish last. If it won't happen again, he will not be someone else's stepping stone. He says if he has to hurt someone to do it, so be it. Of course, he is a heel now. He's been a heel for a good bit, but that just, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Rey Fenix versus Angelico. This match goes through one commercial break. Angelico really didn't do much. Phoenix hits him with looks like a variation of the drill claw. And my God, when he sits down with this guy, Angelico just stops. 1, 2, 3, Phoenix wins. Not much else you can say about that. So, Alex Marvez talks with Miro, and he asked about the Chuck Taylor and Orange Cassidy match. He says, "Nope, not interested. I've moved on. I am done with that. I have better aspirations than dealing with you." Sabian walks in and said he hasn't moved on. "They ruined my wedding, and you're supposed to care." "Oh, you're blaming me now," Miro says. He mentions how Miro shoved one of the guys in, he's Orange Cassidy, whether you meant to or not, into my wife, and she's hurt. Miro tells Kip, one of the worst things you can do, and he knows this from experience, Lana, is to have your wife at ringside. And he tells Kip he wants to be world champion, and that's the only thing he cares about inside the ring. Outside the ring, they're still friends. He leaves. Marvez asks Kip if they accept, and he's like, "Of course we do." And then he walks off. So, again, that match was not made for next week, so I don't know when that match is going to happen. Next week, AEW champion Kenny Omega will take on Matt Sydal, non-title match, eliminator match. If Sydal wins, he receives the title match. If you watch the first episode of AEW Dark Elevation, just take Dark off there and just call it AEW Elevation. Doesn't need to be called Dark Elevation. The Sydal brothers had a match. They won. They were being interviewed backstage. Kenny Omega came up with MT Nakazawa, and talked trash and promised Matt Sydal, if you can beat Nakazawa later in the show, I will give you a one-on-one match. If you beat me, you'll get a title match. Matt Sydal says fine. goes out there later in the show, beats Nakazawa. Kenny Omega comes out and is like, you know what? We're not going to wait. I'm going to do this right now. Bell never rang. Hits him with a one-winged angel. 1, 2, 3 because he made the ref do it. And he's celebrating as if he did something. Tony Khan makes his appearance and says, I don't want to be in this position, but you're making me. And said 9 nights from Monday, which is going to be next Wednesday, it's going to be Seidel versus Omega. If Seidel wins, he gets a title match. Will Seidel win? Probably not. Unless we actually get one of those rare disqualifications in which would give us a title match, which if they want to go that route, have the Good Brothers get involved and cause Kenny Omega to get disqualified, I'm fine with that. Gives Kenny Omega somebody to defend the title against eventually, early on, and it gives us something to go for. So that's going to happen next week. Then we had Nyla Rose versus Tay Conti, a rematch from the women's championship eliminator tournament. FTR and Shawn Spears with Tully Blanchard will take on the Varsity Blondes and Dante Martin of Top Flight since his brother is injured. Darby Allin issues an open challenge. We go backstage to the Dark Order, and they're deciding who's going to be the one to challenge Darby Allin. Now, before they can say anything, Negative One pops up and he's like, wait, it's gonna be me! And Negative One's like, everyone is like, maybe in a decade, man, you're only 9 years old. Maybe. So, they're thinking everyone's putting their hands up, but then Alex Reynolds like, what about Silver? And everyone gets behind it. He goes crazy. So, next week, Darby Allin, John Silver, TNT Championship. Should be a hell of a match. I don't see Darby Allin losing the championship on next week. But that should be a hell of a match. And then we look backstage, and the Inner Circle take the sticker off of the group's the Inner Circle's tag off of the locker room and puts the Pinnacle on the door. So that is that. Now, this obviously is leading to Blood and Guts. AEW last year, right as the scamdemic hit, and we had all this bullshit, all these lockdowns and everything, they were planning for the week after to do Blood and Guts. It was going to be brutal. It was going to be crazy. It was going to be their version of the War Games match. It was going to be the Inner Circle versus the Elite, and we never got it. Instead, we got the Stadium Stampede. So, now we are going to see this somewhere. I wouldn't be surprised if it's on pay-per-view at Double or Nothing. But somewhere down the line, we're getting Blood and Guts with the AEW's new team, the Pinnacle, versus... And especially if Sammy Guevara goes back, you have a 5-on-5. You have MJF, Wardlow, Shawn Spears, and FTR versus Santana Ortiz, Jake Hager, Jericho, and Sammy. So that's where we're going there. That's definitely where they're going. They tried it once, didn't get to happen, something out of their control. They're going to give it another shot. When it's going to happen, only time will tell. Now, the main event. Dr. Britt Baker, DMD versus Thunder Rosa. Unsanctioned, lights out, anything goes match. This was brutal. This was bloody. This could have been a lot more brutal and a lot more bloody if they really wanted to. But I'm sure Britt Baker's going to be picking tacks out of her back for the next 24 hours. This could have been better too. It was a good match. Not going to lie. Britt Baker got carried to a good match between her and Thunder Rosa. Britt Baker, again, can't fucking even do a goddamn DDT onto a chair right. That spot looked bad. I'm not going to praise Thunder Rosa completely because there was a spot where she set a ladder up across from, on the ropes, and was going to do a Death Valley driver onto it from the middle rope. Well, when she does it, she puts her foot down to pivot to go into the Death Valley driver, which, if not done right, she has a broken leg, and this match has a totally different outcome. But, yeah. The start of the match off, of course, they're staring each other down. Rebel has to stick her stupid ass nose into this match. Hits her with the crutch. Can't think tonight. Shit. Sorry, I have those problems. She hits, Breaker hits her with an airway crash, hits Rosa with an airway crash right away. Breaker and them go fighting around the arena a little bit, out in the crowd and stuff. Thunder Rosa gets busted open a little bit early on as she gets stomped onto the stairs as she's laying down prone. Britt Baker ends up getting cut open even worse later on when she's in the corner. Thunder Rosa puts the ladder in front of her and drop kicks the ladder into her face. She was bleeding, like, you know when someone's bleeding badly when you see below them is nothing but a puddle of blood. And when they move, there's another puddle of blood. And when they move again, another puddle of blood. Thunder Rosa got nicked. And she bled a little bit. But Britt Baker was bleeding from head to like the full face. She was bleeding. So Rebel brings out Tax. They put the Tax on the mat. Rebel tries to get involved again. She gets put through a table that Rebel and Britt Baker put up earlier in the show. So she's out of the match. Baker is going to go for a Death Valley Driver or something into the Tax. But no, Thunder Rosa reverses that into a powerbomb into the Tax. 2 count. I'm sorry. Tax should be it, but it wasn't. So Thunder Rosa set up a table earlier on the outside. They're on the apron. Rosa looks like she's going to get Death Valley Drive through maybe to the table this time, but no. Stops that, puts Britt Baker into the Thunder Driver, puts her through the table to the floor. 1, 2, 3. Thunder Rosa finally avenges her 2 losses to Britt Baker. And this could possibly be the last time we see Thunder Rosa in AEW, as coming up later in the month, NWA Back on the Attack is coming live on pay-per-view via Fight TV, and we might not see Britt Baker, not Britt Baker, but Thunder Rosa, as she does have a match for the #1 contendership against Camille. The winner will take on Serena Deeb at a later time. Here's my thing, if they really wanted to do that and they had this working relationship, you could have had the #1 contendership for that match on AEW's TV, and you have Camille win, or Thunder Rosa win, they go to the pay-per-view, and you have Serena Deeb defend at the pay-per-view, losing the title to whoever they want to, whoever would be the #1 contender. But, yes, this is probably going to be, but I have no idea. This could be Thunder Rosa's last match in AEW for a while, if and ever. Who knows? I don't know. Like, the NWA struck a deal to have Thunder Rosa in the NWA Women's Championship on their TV because they don't have TV right now. Now, after tonight, who knows what's going to be happening with them, especially with the Back on the Attack coming. I don't know who is going to win. But did the women, because this was a big step for the women's division. If this match went out there, whether they were bloodied, you can't, just because they both got bloodied, there was thumbtacks used. If the match was a dud, this would set the women's division back a way longer than you want it to. It would be back to square one. If this fell flat, it would be hard for AEW to trust the women on TV in the main event. I mean, yes, Maki Ito and Riho had the official first women's main event this past Monday, but that's on YouTube. That's on YouTube. This was not. This was on live TV. This was on tape TV, which, honestly, I can see why you don't want it to be live, because there could be a lot that could go wrong, and you don't want to have your first ever women's main event on your flagship show be fucking screwed up because of a bad spot or somebody got injured. And all I have to say is, it was good. Britt Baker got carried to a good match. That's all you can say. So, we'll see what happens with this after going forward. Will we see Britt Baker go down the card, because she seems to be slipping ever since other than the tag team matches that they won. Well, the 2 tag team matches that they won. Now, technically, in matches that they are, and this is another thing, they're 2-2. Britt Baker has pinned Thunder Rosa twice. Thunder Rosa beat Maki Ito in that 6-woman tag match last week, which Britt Baker was a part of. So Britt Baker has 2 matches wins technically against Thunder Rosa, and now Thunder Rosa has technically 2. Will we see a blow-off or another match? Which, this is a feud ender, honestly. You don't do a lights-out match like this if you're not just going to say that's it between these two. So, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm guessing we'll just have to wait and see where this goes from here. But it seems like Britt Baker has fallen out of favor with the AEW brass. I don't know what it is. It just felt like... I don't know what it is because she fucking sucks. But it seems like they were pushing her for a while, and then it just fell off. So I don't know if she did something or what they're up about, but definitely it ended the way it did, and it ended the way it needed to. So Baker done, and it looks like we'll see what happens in the coming weeks to see what happens. Anybody sitting there saying that that allows... We'll just see what happens. I don't know what they're going to do. But anybody who thinks that, Britt Baker should be going for the Women's Championship, she should be the next AEW Women's Champion, you lost your mind. Because that tonight just showed that she doesn't need to be anywhere near the Women's Championship. But that is going to be all for your AEW View. It was a good show overall, 100%. Definitely just... Gallows and Anderson... One of my biggest gripe on the show is not even Britt Baker or anything. It's the fact that Gallows and Anderson were beating the fucking shit out of Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston after their match for a good amount of time. And here's my thing. They might be Kenny Omega's boys. Oh, fucking well. They are guys from a different fucking company coming into your company looking to hurt your fellow co-workers. And you're not going to do a damn thing about it? You're going to sit back and wait for Matt and Nick Jackson to play hero? You're not going to come out there and chase these guys off as the guys who work for AEW? How pathetic does it make the AEW locker room look? You have Eddie Kingston, who, I know a lot of people don't like Eddie Kingston in the locker room, kayfabe or whatever. But, like, Jon Moxley, they put the fucking chair around his neck and was going to, injure this guy for a good while. Unless, of course, you're in WWE where you only get injured for, 2 weeks. They were going to put this guy out for a while. And you're just going to sit back? You have the Gun Club and other babyface men out there doing nothing but going, oh my God, what's going to happen? You have to wait for the Young Bucks. That makes your locker room look pathetic. What the hell? This is supposed to be, we can't do anything because they're Kenny Omega's boys. Bullshit. They are from a different company. They are not technically signed to AEW. You need to get this shit right. Now, that is all. They need to get this shit right. If you're going to have these guys go out there and be big invaders, as they're supposed to be, you need to do something. But it is what it is. That is all I have to say. Hit the subscribe button, comment down below, like or dislike this video. Find me on Minds at the Frost Club. Oh, by the way, Britt Baker's face of her bleeding is now a shirt on AEWshop.com. So if you want to go catch that, go right ahead. Hit that subscribe button, comment down below, like or dislike this video. Find me on Minds at the Frost Club. Find me on twitch.tv/the Frost Club. And find me on Instagram at the Frost Club. And I will see you guys on Friday for the go-home show for Fastlane and the predictions for Fastlane. Until then, my name is the Franz, and I'll see you guys later.